Last time, we talked about magnetic confinement, tokamaks, and stellarators. But there's one more important detail we've been glossing over. Once the plasma is created, how do we actually get it to fusion temperatures? To over 100 million degrees Celsius. Well, you're in luck, because today we're covering heating, control, and instabilities. So you may be thinking, Amir, you just turn on the heater. Duh. But at these temperatures, you need multiple methods to get it that hot. At some point, traditional heating actually stops working. Let's start at the beginning. Ohmic heating. You've seen a toaster, right? I mean, I hope so. You know what they say about toast. A toaster works by sending current through a resistive material. It's those wires that turn red when you turn it on. Electric energy is converted into heat, and that heat cooks your food. This is great for lower temperatures in the plasma. But as the temperatures increase, the conductivity of the plasma increases, inherently decreasing the resistance of the plasma. But we need resistance to heat it ohmically. Yikes. So at some point, we need to switch it up. Next, we use neutral beam injection. Basically, we're shooting energetic particles into the plasma, and it's super cool. First, we create hydrogen ions. Then, we accelerate them. But last week, we learned magnetic fields keep charged particles within the confines of the reactor. That also means they keep charged particles from getting back in. Just like the neutrons carrying the kinetic energy of fusion escaping the field, we can use a similar method to inject our particles. We can neutralize them. After, when we fire the particles into our plasma, the field will have no effect. Their kinetic energy will be transferred through collisions with the plasma, while also reionizing them to join the plasma as a whole. So, we have this crazy particle firing scheme. Surely, this will heat it up enough. No. The final main way we heat plasma is through radio frequency heating. Keeping the kitchen appliance analogy going, this is like the microwave. Of course, everyone has a particle cannon sitting next to their toaster, so this analogy is still perfectly reasonable. By sending electromagnetic waves through the plasma at the right frequency, we can heat it up even more without touching it. Back in episode 2, we learned plasma supports waves. That's exactly what RF heating takes advantage of. Not as cool as neutral beam injection, but still pretty important. Phew! So we're done now, right? The plasma is magnetically confined, it's hot enough. If it was that easy, fusion would already be solved. The problem is the plasma doesn't actually want to stay confined. Plasma is collective, so small disruptions grow, energy leaks, and the plasma can shift. Disruption mitigation is one of the problems we're still throwing new ideas at. One of my favorite examples comes from ITER. Yeah, I know I talk about ITER enough, okay? Their idea is to shoot frozen pellets at negative 268 degrees Celsius of hydrogen and neon, traveling at supersonic speeds, shattering into an inclined plane, and then sending fragments into the plasma. And using lasers, magnetic probes, and microwave diagnostics, they make sure this happens within milliseconds of disruptions. 35 nations actually saw this idea and signed off on it. It passed its early design review in early 2024. Pretty crazy. But this just shows it takes a crazy level of ingenuity to solve problems in fusion. Throughout the series, we talked about temperature, magnetic confinement, and density. And they're actually connected. Fusion only works if it's hot enough, dense enough, and confined for long enough. This relationship is called the Lozano criterion, and it's a scorecard we've been trying to beat since the 50s. Alright, let's review. Plasma takes multiple layers to reach its 10 keV temperature. Ohmic heating, neutral beam injection, and RF heating. Plasma is unstable, so it needs to be monitored and mitigated. Finally, the ideas we've covered so far culminate in the Lozano criterion. Next week, we'll be looking at where all this energy goes, and how we turn fusion energy into electricity. The next video will also be linked here once it's out. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments, and please drop a like and subscribe while you're down there. Anyway, while you're still here, this next video is electric.